For me personally, I have brought it down for my own understanding to a very simple framework, which is nature, culture, and self. And by that I mean that nature in every dimension, whatever is natural around us and inside us, there are certain rules and laws that seem to be at work there. How they have been created, how they work, I don't really know. That is a mystery and a wonder. But we can see clearly that there are certain rules and laws at work there. When we think about culture, which is really our collective implicit rules and laws and assumptions, we can also see them at work quite clearly. We may agree, disagree, we may be insiders or outsiders, or we can see them at work. In my experience, it is the self part which has been most neglected in the modern world. So, what are the rules and laws that are applying inside of me? I don't really know very well. And I don't have the tools, and I don't have the training, and I don't have the time and the bandwidth to truly explore myself adequately. So, if I look at these three domains for myself, the domain of nature is being explored by so many people. The nature of the domain of culture is being explored by a lot of people. But the domain of self is not being explored by as many people at all. And in my view, that is the missing piece that needs to be dealt with to link these two other domains very tightly and very completely. Part of the challenge with the domain of the self is that it has been defined too narrowly, and the lines around it, the boundaries around it, have kind of become impermeable. So, in my worldview, these three domains are interpenetrated. There is nature in the self, there is culture in the self, there is self in culture, there is self in nature, there is nature in culture, and so on and so on and so on. And just this view of that interpenetration itself is a more of a united and more of a synthetic view. This is hard to get to. And I think if I had not had my cancer experience, and if I had not really looked at myself with that level of scrutiny and that level of depth, I don't think I would have come to this understanding of what are these three domains and how do they apply to me. Whether they will apply in the same extent to everybody else, I don't know. And I can only offer it for somebody to receive if it makes sense to them. Some people will take it. Some people will say, what rubbish is he talking about? I have no idea what he's talking about, right? But it's okay. This is my worldview that is formed out of real experience. And when we attach enough weightage to each of these three domains, that to cultivate a true appreciation of the wonder of nature, to cultivate a true appreciation of the wonder of culture, to cultivate a true appreciation of the wonder of self, then actually those strongly defined boundaries start to fall away. And then I'm able to see the interconnectedness and that the fact that I am leaving a wake, and the wake can have huge consequences, and I can take responsibility for those consequences. That what I do with the leaders that I work with is having an impact on the culture of business, and I can take some responsibility for what I'm doing in that space. How I engage with nature is going to have an impact in that domain, and I can take some responsibility for the wake I leave behind there. So, to me, it's not so much a fight between culture and nature and which side am I on. Actually, for me, it is what does that interaction look like when I'm seeing it from the inside out? And I take responsibility for everything that's going on. Then the picture fundamentally changes. And this is what, in a way, the gift of cancer has been for me. And this is what I'm trying to communicate in my work, whether it is with other cancer patients or with the corporate leaders that I'm working with. That this trio of nature, culture, and self, really, where are you located? At what level of consciousness are you located with regard to these three domains? That is the question.